Hello everybody, welcome back to Wolfeei. Today we're going to be talking about the 5th year anniversary of MCC. It's coming up probably as the next event as of right now, and we have no clue what it's going to be. So, in this video I'm going to speculate what we may expect or what may happen for MCC November this year. We don't know what the naming scheme's going to be, but whatever the 5th year anniversary of MCC event is going to be called, I'm going to speculate what it's going to be, because there's a lot of options, and I'm going to go over every single one of them. Some of them I've already covered in the past, so it'll be a bit more of a brief description. Also, what you're looking at on screen right now is the roster for MCC 1, showcasing the date of MCC 1, which was November 17th, 2019. I haven't checked what Saturdays or when the Saturday of this month is, but if the Saturday happens to be November 17th, which I don't think it is because Rookies is on the 9th, so it probably means that it's on the 16th. November 16th is probably when I expect this event to happen. It's the closest to an exact 5-year anniversary that they can get, so it'll probably be on November 16th. And let's go over every single anniversary event. Starting off with MCC 12, which was a normal MCC with birthday theming because it was the first event. This was before MCC even had special events. Their Pride event was just a normal event. They did have Jingle Jam in Season 1, but for the most part, Season 1 of MCC was just standard. Normal MCC, nothing too crazy about it, right? So, cool, but at least they did something special, and that's the main thing that is important here, because so far, every anniversary of MCC has had something unique. Every single time, consistently. For example, in 2021, I think, there was, I think, All Stars, probably. Yes, November was All Stars, sorry, I just had to remember. Because it was Rising and then All Stars. So All Stars was the November anniversary event for MCC, right, in 2021. Then in 2022, there was Underdogs, which was MCC 27. In 2023, there was MCC Party, and in 2024, we don't know yet. So let's go over every single option and check what is the most likely. Starting off here with probably the most requested thing, because if we're gonna assume that it's gonna be a new MCC, this has been the most requested type of MCC from the community, at least on Reddit. MCC Redemption. And I've talked about MCC Redemption twice, as you can see here. Twice last year, once at the start and once at the end. I haven't talked about it at all this year, because I don't think it's going to happen. And I'll explain why. I may have already explained it in the past, but I'll explain it again because I'm sure there's a lot of people who haven't watched every single Wolfeei Mogul Mail, so just gonna catch everybody up a little bit. MCC Redemption, the concept is teams that have gotten like 3rd or like 4th, teams that have gotten close to getting to Dodgebolt but haven't gotten to Dodgebolt, or teams that have lost Dodgebolt. There's a whole bunch of factors that come to play. Teams that have at least gotten close to winning or close to getting to the finale would all be fully eligible to play, which means that in order to get this roster, you'd need 10 unique teams of 40 unique players altogether, who have all gotten 3rd on a specific team all at the same time, and that's impossible, because you're expecting 40 people, specifically 40 very specific people on 10 very specific teams to all be available on the same day, and if one of them can't make it, the whole plan is ruined. Nah. Nope. If one person drops out, the whole point is over. Imagine if a person drops out. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, we pick, I can't really think of a good 3rd place team. Let's do the Shane and Etho team. Shane, Scott, Etho, and Scar. Let's say that team was planned to happen, but Etho has to drop out, and they get Grian, for example, right? It's probably a significant buff, but hypothetically. Now, if that team wins, it's no longer a Redemption team. So there's a lot of things that come into play as to why I don't think MCC Redemption would happen. It's just a very big hassle and a bit of a pain in the ass, especially for Scott, to put it all together. Also because unless they do like a very classic MCC with this redemption factor, it feels like the whole event wouldn't come together very cohesively. So I don't think MCC Redemption is happening. Next up is All Stars. I've made a video about All Stars 2 already, and explained literally in the title why I don't think it'll happen. This was actually very recent. I posted this about a month ago. I made a whole video already explaining why I don't think MCC All Stars 2 will happen. The main reason is because of the trajectory that MCC has gone in for this year. Yes, since the last All Stars, there's probably enough people to make a full roster, especially if you include people from Rising. However, I still don't think it's appealing to the Noxcrew, or to Scott mostly, really, to make another All Stars. Another reason is because I don't think All Stars 1 was that well received. As far as I can remember, many people didn't really like it that much. It was fine, but like, the balancing was off. Should people have their full returning teams or not? And you're not going to have a full roster with returning teams. It's just a bit of a mess. I don't expect it to happen. However, if it does happen, I'm not complaining because I'm eligible, but I don't think it'll happen. So, All-Stars 2, I think, is off the table for now. Maybe it'll happen, but I don't expect it. Next, MCC Underdogs. And I talked about Underdogs. I think if I click like here, you'll see the entire roster that I had come up with at the time, which I know this isn't entirely correct because there's some people who have won an event in the past. Whatever, right? It doesn't matter. Underdogs, I personally would love to see. However, I don't know if they would do it because I just don't feel like it would make sense. I don't know. I would love to see it happen. This is one of my favorite. MCC Underdogs 1 is one of my favorite events they've ever done. However, I don't know if they would do something like an MCC Underdogs this year or even at all again, because I don't know. It just doesn't feel like they would do it. That's just, I don't really have a great reason. I personally don't really feel like they would do it. That's just my opinion. To me, doesn't feel like it would make the most sense. So I personally wouldn't count on Underdogs 2 happening, but maybe it could. I don't know. And then we get to what I actually think would happen. My main prediction, if they do a unique new event, would be MCC Throwback, whatever you would want to call it. A Throwback MCC for the 5-year anniversary of the event, where the roster is as close to what it was originally as possible, which would mean Parkour Warrior, Hole in the Wall, Ace Race, Sky Battle, Rocket Spleef Rush, To Get to the Side, Bingo But Fast, Survival Games. That could be probably the roster. I mean, those games have all been played before in this year. It could be very doable. You just get as close to the original roster as possible. Obviously, there's a handful of people from the original roster that don't really make sense to invite back, but this could be a fun moment to maybe see if Quig wants to play again, or maybe, I don't know, you could get Joey and Strawberry back. Maybe some other people that would be fun to bring back. Maybe Vicstar could play again. I don't know. iJevon already played. I would have mentioned iJevon, but he's already there. Could be fun. That's the main catch that I don't think would be super consistent, is that you won't really get the most throwback roster possible, but it doesn't necessarily have to be just MCC 1 players. You could throw in people like Green and Fruit, who were all added from, in very early MCCs. Like, there's a handful of people that will work if you need to do a throwback MCC. And you could even say it has to be mostly people who were in Season 1, which obviously is a much wider range of people. And even if that's not enough, including people from Season 2 or even Season 3 or even Season 4 is totally fine. Like, that doesn't matter. You see a little bit of a bridge between the modern creator, maybe like a Feinberg, with some of the OGs, like Joey Grossefa. I think it'd be cool. But yeah, that's my main hope. I guess my main prediction as well, that it's going to be a throwback MCC. Another thing that I think would be very possible and a lot better if they did another version of it is MCC Party, which they did last year. This would break the quote-unquote rule. We don't know if it's confirmed. I don't think it is. The quote-unquote idea, at least, of doing a unique event for the anniversary every single time. But I think MCC Party was a very original rendition of MCC, and I think it honestly was undersold the first time. I think the main problem with MCC Party last year was that very little context was given as to what people should expect for MCC Party. There was very little explanation before the update video, and because of how much of a spin was thrown onto the event, a lot of players were confused, not properly prepared, and it resulted in some messy, event experiences. But I think if they did it again, it would be way better. I think the you know, if you get a bunch of the players who played last time, if you don't really switch up the core mechanic of the event too much, I think MCC Party 2 could go fantastically. Obviously, as of right now, it doesn't really matter what I personally think is the best, because Noxcrew has probably already planned out what events they're hosting for the entire year. But I also hope that MCC Party is one that was at least considered to happen, and that makes for my top 2 hopes, or at least my top 2 predictions. My top 3 hopes would include Underdogs. I don't think they'll do Underdogs, but my top 2 predictions is a throwback MCC where it's the roster from MCC 1 potentially with as many OGs as possible included in the roster, or MCC Party 2, which I think would go a lot better a second time, but I'm not sure if it should be expected. Lastly, before I end off the video, some people made some predictions about teams that they think could make sense to happen in this anniversary event. Both of them didn't specifically mention what the anniversary event would be. They just made anniversary rosters. And I think something that's really funny is that I actually ended up on both of the rosters, which is interesting because I wouldn't consider myself somebody who should be included in a anniversary MCC, but I honestly could see the logic as to why someone would, put me on a prediction, or maybe why I could technically be put in the roster. I just don't expect it, because obviously I cover MCC a lot. I feel like I have had a lot of involvement, at least in the community side of things, for MCC over the past 2 years, so I think it'd be fun. Obviously I'd accept it because I'd love to play another MCC, but yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see me included in this. I think it'd be pretty funny. Either way, I'm not going to go over the analysis of every single team here. I don't think there necessarily needs to be too much that's commented about regarding the roster picks. I will say I expect a anniversary MCC event, if it is a party or something like that type of vibe, to maybe be slightly lower comp leaning, in which this roster I think is a little too strong, because every single team has at least 2 very competent Minecraft players, and if they don't have like 2 very competent Minecraft players, they have 3 competent Minecraft players, which is usually a pretty above average thing to have on a team in MCC. So I think this is slightly too high skill, but I do think that a lot of the combo pairings on these teams are interesting. For example, I think this pink team would make a lot of sense. I think this would be really fun. Obviously, I'd love to team with Shane. That'd be really fun. And yeah, just in general, I think these are pretty cool. I think an Aqua team is a fun experiment as well. So this is a cool roster. And then this one, I think, kind of has a similar problem. I mean, teams like Yellow are just insanely strong. Furthermore, I guess this is Green. Green is obviously pretty good. Curry now has 2 arms again, so I don't know how good he would be at playing MCC, but he'd be okay at least. So my team could end up being pretty good. Obviously, you have a full throwback team on purple. Interesting combination on pink, but the pink team is absolutely this is so disgusting in terms of balancing. So I had some interesting picks, but yeah, I mean, this could be a fun roster too, I guess. I think this Lime team is also a full throwback team, if I remember correctly. It literally is the Lime team from last MCC. Oh, I guess. Oh, there's more to it. There's multiple teams. Oh, actually, never mind. This is just as close to a throwback event as possible, isn't it? Huh. Okay, good to know. Except the pink team is just an entirely different team, because none of these players really play MCC anymore. Oh, well, interesting. Anyways, enough yapping. Let me know your thoughts on what you think the 5th anniversary MCC is going to be. Let me know if you think I'm correct, if I have correct opinions on who should be, or not who should be in, but rather what to expect. And yeah, let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.